Hey, Jihad, congrats and welcome to Philadelphia.
Appreciate it,
Thank you for
man. It's an honor. Thank you.
thank you for taking the time to meet with our local media. We'll kick it off with Ed and then Jeff McLean.
I got you.
Yeah. Hey, Jihad, congratulations. Welcome back to Philadelphia. Uh, yeah, I know you grew up a half an hour or so from here. Did you grow up
Yeah.
did you grow up an Eagles fan? And
Oh
secondly, how
yeah.
much
Come
inter
on, man. Definitely.
okay, yeah, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
How much interaction did you have with the Eagles in the pre-draft process?
So I only spoke to him like once. I talked to Coach Washburn, and just building that connection and that bond. And, we was, just talking together, and yeah, I only talked to him once. So
Did you get a good feel for how that went?
yeah, definitely. I mean, they're a very great um organization. Um, they have very great coaches, great staff. That make sure the team has great value. So we can win. When regular season games, win playoffs, and most importantly, win a Super Bowl. So
We'll go to Jeff and then Brooks.
Hey, John, congratulations. You mentioned Washburn. He coaches the edge defenders. Do you think that's what the Eagles envision you playing more of,
I
rather
think
than all?
I think just being like a dominant force for the defense. So really like just put me wherever and just finding different schemes for me to play and making an impact.
What do you, it's pretty well known that you came in as more, you played defensive end in high school, and then that was kind of what you started out at Alabama. Um, do you have a preference in terms of what you like to play or what you think brings out the best in
Man, man, I'm just ready to be the best version of myself each and every day, and compete, what I'm saying, and, be that dominant force at whatever the coach wants to put me at, honestly.
We'll go to Brooks and then Jeff Kerr.
Yeah, so in multiple spots, wherever they end up lining you up, how much have you gotten a chance to look at what this Eagles defense has done, what Vic Fangio has done?
Yeah,
Where do you see the
yeah,
things that play to your
yeah.
skills?
Yeah, so I think, they do a lot of great things with Zach Bond, with Nolan Smith, with N'Kobe Dean. Just being able to be versatile, being in coverage, rushing, through the A gaps and blitzing, and just being that guy that adds value and that creates value for themselves, and great production for themselves. So
We'll go to Jeff and then Olivia.
Hey, Jihad, congratulations. Welcome to Philadelphia.
thank
I
you,
heard
appreciate
you
it.
say yesterday at your pre-draft that you want to be number one at or the best at everything you do. Where did you get that mentality from growing up?
I always had that mentality, ever since really it might have been when I came out the womb, honestly. I always just wanted to be the best version of myself each and every day. And I had family members, I had a great support system and foundation that always pushed me to be the best version of myself. So I never looked at anything other than that. You know what I'm saying? So each day I'm trying to figure out ways of, okay, how can I maximize nutrition? How can I maximize my footwork or, just tackling, keep my pad level low. You know what I'm saying? So
We'll go to Olivia and then John McMullen.
Hey, Jahad, you said that you grew up an Eagles fan. What have been some of your favorite Eagles memories over the years and some of your favorite players to watch?
man, it's a lot. I want to say like Shady. When Darren Sproles was there, I definitely like him. Brandon Graham. Um, who else? Obviously Michael Vick. Got to go with Deshaun Jackson. Another great one was Jeremy Maclin. When he was doing very great at Philly. So
We'll go to John and then Martin.
Hey, Jihad, congrats again. Talked about Beck a little bit earlier, but curious how much you know about, or do you know much about his scheme? Because he has a history of using versatile hybrid sort of flat
yeah,
defenders. How
yeah,
much do you know
definitely.
about it? How much you're looking forward to it?
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. A whole lot. What I'm saying? This is my new team, and I'm just excited to really grow that bond and that connection relationship, with him, with the linebackers coach, really with everybody, on the defensive staff. just getting together and, really understanding the concept and, different schemes, so I can apply it to my game and, maximize each and every opportunity I have on the field.
Why do you think you took to coverage? You came in Alabama as an edge guy and sort of got into that role and sort of developed into a natural coverage player. Why do you think that came so quickly for you?
I mean, it was just a want, a want to learn, a want to win, and I think, that was the main thing, just being around like-minded guys like me, that would push me and that would help me and, just educate me on different things along with my coaches. And then, just applying it to myself, what I'm saying? Self-confidence is everything. So I feel like, that's what I have. And, I have a certain type of tenacity that I bring to the game. And, that's how I play the game.
We'll go to Martin and then Dave.
Jihad, congrats on getting drafted, obviously. I
Thank you.
wanted to ask you about the status of your shoulder. You had surgery in March and everything. Like, do you think you'll be
Yeah.
ready for training camp? And
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
I mean, do you think that's why kind of like you were taken at number 31 when, a lot of people had you go in the middle of the round?
I mean, it was really just God's plan. I was just walking in his guidance. You feel what I'm saying? So, me patiently waiting, that was all God's work. He's the best of planners always. And, I'm just taking it day by day with, the shoulder process, just making sure, like I said earlier, I'm just maximizing every day, that I can get better, that I can heal up. So
We'll go to Dave and then Zach.
Congratulations. When you think back to your high school career and you transfer and you leave the state, was that a difficult decision for you?
no, just understanding, what was that task and what I wanted to do. I'm definitely grateful, that my parents understood what I wanted to do, moving forward and, going to IMG and going to Alabama and now, and I'm about to go to basically another Alabama, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, man, it's just God's process, man. I'm just walking in his guidance right now and, everything is going as planned. So I'm really excited to be an Eagle. I really can't wait to get to work and, just win.
We'll go to Zach and then Jeff.
Hey, Jihaad, congratulations. The phone call, what was that like? What did they say on the phone? And you're someone who would know what a 215 number is. So when that 215 number pops up.
Once I see the number, I'm like, pretty interesting. Okay. So I answered it and it was Howie, but he was like, you know what this is? You know what this is? I'm like, nah. And then that's when he's like, it's Howie Roseman. I was about to break down, man, because I mean, it was just a surreal moment, for me and my family. Like my grandfather, like I'm talking way back in Randall Cunningham days, he always watched the Eagles and he always loved the Eagles. My pops, my mom, my two brothers, my uncle, I mean, like my whole family, so it was definitely a special moment, for me and my family.
So what's the cell phone been like that the past hour and a half?
I think so yeah. Definitely.
We have time for two more, so we'll go to Jeff and then Tim.
You mentioned, I'm sorry, I don't know if you answered specifically about the shoulder. You expect to be back by when? Do you know when you'll be cleared?
I mean, I'm just taking this process day by day. I ain't even really looking, like too far ahead or anything like that. I'm really just, trying to focus on like tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I got to go up to the Eagles, but I'm gonna definitely give me a nice little workout in the morning, so I can maximize my strengths and, just getting my shoulder back right. So that's what I'm most worried about.
Okay. All right, thanks. Just wanted to, thanks.
We'll end with Tim here.
Hey, Jihaad, just following up on that. How did you hurt the shoulder?
Just trying to bang heads with somebody, trying to play football, everybody get injured. So I think that was what happened. You know what I'm saying? Being a linebacker.
From during the season?
Yeah. Just trying to make a lot of tackles, trying to make some very great tackles.
Thanks for the time. Thanks for the time, Jihaad, and congrats again.
Appreciate y'all. You have a great night.